Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I am just now starting to share a little bit of budgeting content on my channel. I have always wanted to share a little bit of our debt-free journey, but I really wasn't sure how to share that with people because even though we follow a lot of Dave Ramsey's teaching and he's been our primary motivator, we are not perfect and we don't follow it 100%. But with that being said, yesterday we made our last payment to our student loans, and after I posted to our personal Facebook page, of our accomplishment, and we paid off $108,000 of debt in 36 months. 76 of that was our student loans. So after I posted that, I realized there was a lot of people messaging me and asking for tips and advice. And I feel like it's so much easier to share my channel and kind of explain at one time because, it can get really confusing trying to explain this via Messenger or anything like that. So I'm going to start sharing some of that content, and hopefully it will help you all and motivate you all to accomplish your financial goals. Even though you're not perfect, we have some new goals that we are trying to set for ourselves as well, and I'm just going to share that journey with you. So a little bit, we are a family of 5, and we did do cash envelopes for 3 categories, and those are food, gas, and miscellaneous expenses. We did not have a full sinking funds envelope array. I know Dave Ramsey teaches, I think his daughter teaches about sinking funds. For me, that was just super confusing. So it was just easier for our family to stick to 3 cash envelopes. So I will go into and explaining that as well. And also, I just want to let you guys know that this is 36 months, and like I said, we have not been perfect, and there are times that we have fallen off track or maybe purchased something or went away for a couple days, and we haven't been perfect in paying off our debt, but I feel like let me just share that and give you some inspiration that you don't have to be perfect and you can still accomplish some goals that you have set for yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share real numbers, our personal budget with you all. And if you haven't watched my last video of the budgeting, I did mention, if you are interested in starting a financial journey, you need to get away from comparing your income, comparing your finance situation with other people. I was always under the impression if I made more money, I wouldn't have as much debt or etc. But really, you're responsible for your own money and what you do with it. So I suggest staying away from comparing your finances with anybody else because you may make less money than somebody else, and but you also may have less debt than somebody else. I know people that make a lot of money that have a lot of debt. So that is why I mentioned that in my last video. Alright, so I'm going to share a little bit of our budget here, and like I said, this is just my second budgeting video, so I have to critique a little bit of everything, and I will learn along the way, so I'm just trying to keep this all in frame here as we go. So we have February 12th paycheck. This is a combined income of that pay with me and my husband. We do work off one joint checking account, so that is the easiest way to budget your household income. I don't even know how to explain to people that have separate checking accounts because I've never had to deal with it and I don't know what that looks like. So this is how we do it, and this is what has worked for us. So we have a joint checking account and a joint savings account. Also, I wanted to note that Like I said, we do a little bit things different than what Dave Ramsey teaches. You know, his first baby step is to have $1,000 emergency fund in the bank. His second is to pay off all your debt. And third is to have 3 to 6 months cash, household income, basically, for an emergency. We actually have our 6 months in the bank currently. And I'm keeping that cushion in there. I could technically pay off a couple little things, but I am choosing not to do that, especially with COVID and the uncertainty of everything. I just feel more comfortable to have that money in the bank at this time and then just work with my paycheck with what I have. So anyway, so this was our income of that paycheck, $3,516. These are the bills that I paid: my husband's car, my babysitter, the student loan. I just made a minimum payment of $28 because at this time I could have paid the student loan off in January, but I basically just put all that money in the savings account because I was just so unsure what was happening. So instead of applying that to my, student loan debt snowball, I just put all that money in the bank and wanted to kind of talk with my husband what our plans were. Then later, you could see, 6 days later, we decided to just go ahead, pull it out of the savings and pay it because we have just worked so hard to get to where we were, and I just didn't want, that fear to come over me, and somehow we still have this hanging over our head 6 months from now. So I went ahead and paid that. So our car insurance, our internet, our sewer, and then I also have a Best Buy credit card, but it is 24 months, same as cash. You have to do what you're comfortable with doing. We have used same as cash before in the past, and we are comfortable with that because we have the cash in the bank to pay this off. I just didn't want to dwindle down my savings, and like I said, I can pay this off if I wanted to. I'm just choosing to kind of go at my own pace with that. But anyway, the credit card, we also have a credit card that we spend on. Again, this is something that you have to do if you're comfortable with, if you are responsible enough to, or responsible/disciplined enough to pay it off when you get paid. That is something that we have always done. But with that being said, when we first started our debt-free journey, we never used our credit card at all. Both of our credit cards were locked up, and we just never used them. We recently got them back out and would put big expenses like Great Wolf Lodge, like a vacation or something like that. Again, something that we have cash for in the bank, but we are just working on paying that. We just use our paycheck to pay that off. But with that being said, we're not perfect, and I did notice that we were spending a little bit more on our credit card, more than what was in our envelopes. It was just coming back to where we were feeling a little bit too comfortable to scan our card. So we are aware of that. Me and my husband discussed that. We need to get back again at not using that for small purchases, because as you know, those small purchases add up to a lot of money. So anyway, so this all totals $1,985. Miscellaneous expenses I had a tax return. We had our taxes done. That was $125. We had a backflow meter test that had to be done. That was $35. So $165. In our envelopes, we put $500 every paycheck, and we put food $300. Gas, we usually put $100, but since the day before We got paid. We put $40 on the credit card. I just deducted that from our gas envelope. Miscellaneous is $100. So that becomes $460. Then I have always kept a buffer of $100 in our account, because just in case something were to go through your account, you don't want to get hit with an overdraft fee or something like that you're just not expecting. Maybe you have a subscription that gets pulled out every 6 months and you totally forgot about it and it's $12. You don't want your account to be overdrafted. So I just keep this at 100, even though we really don't use this. This has also been great as well. Let's say my husband is on his way home from work and I need a gallon of milk. He can just run into the store if he didn't have his cash on him and get the gallon of milk. So this never really changes. Maybe just a couple dollars here and there, but otherwise it's always just in there. So with that, the 1985, the 165, the 460, and the 100 equals 2710. So 3516 minus the 2710, I have 806 left over. So if you needed to put that toward your emergency fund, if you needed to put this leftover toward your debt snowball, you can do that. Like I said, we have plans for some of these things up here, and what I am choosing to use that money for at this time is we are having carpet installed, and the total is $33.84. So I am just putting that $806 toward that carpet. So now I only need $2,578 for the carpet. So that is how I'm choosing to use our leftover currently. Like I said, we won't always have a big expense like this, but this is just how I am working, living on paychecks. And also another thing is I don't really agree with the sinking funds, because I feel like you should learn how to manage unexpected bills that happen and just work that into your paycheck. And because when they do the sinking funds, I have seen where they'll put $11 into the sinking fund. They will, for, let's just say, this tax return over a course of a year. That is way too confusing for me. So I just choose to work it into my paycheck and keep it simple, which is having these 3 main envelopes. And me and my husband do want to do a couple little extra envelopes for us personally, since we have accomplished most of our financial goals with paying off our debt. We do want to start giving ourselves an allowance to maybe go out on a date night or some extra little things, but I can't do the sinking funds for just random or annual bills. That just does not work for me. So this is just how we do it, and this is what is working, and I think anybody can manage their budget this way. So and then I also just made a note that we paid off the $4,800 on the student loans, and that came out of the savings. Like I said, that was just the January snowball that I was putting into my savings. So this is just how we are doing it. I suggest getting a notebook if you're trying to, start a budget or get on track with your finances. It doesn't have to be fancy. I've seen some budgeting videos where they have special budgeting notebooks. This is just a notebook from Office Max. You can get any notebook, and it just helps keep in check where your money is going. And I suggest doing that. And then I also suggest getting a little accordion envelope. This is what we do for our cash envelopes. Currently, we just keep it all in one spot, and me and my husband know where this is at, so if either of us needs to grab some money. So we just have our 3 categories here: food, other, and miscellaneous. And then I also have a tab here for rollover. So at the end of the week, if I have anything left over, I can put it in my rollover money. Let's say my son needs a new pair of shoes, or something a little bit more pricey, I can always just use my rollover money. So anyway, that is just what is working for us, and I will keep you posted. We will get paid again next week, so I will do another budgeting video then. Alright guys, well until then, you all take care, and I will see you in the next video.